Fred Newsbickle from Thomasville, Georgia.
And you're the current president?
Current president of the Master Amateur, 3 years into it. This is my fourth invitational. There'll be one more next year.
Sure. And so you're the second president so far of the organization.
Correct.
And how's the club doing?
It's doing great. I mean, I think we're, the membership is slowly increasing. We provide a service for the amateur handlers. The Master National, which was what everyone used to go to, is now 80 to 82% pro, and there are very few amateurs that are still running the Master Amateur or Master National. So the Master Amateur is a great way to let strictly amateurs run their dogs. So and it's running very well.
So how do they get here? What's the process of getting to this?
Well, first of all, they have to join the club. It's $50 per year, or if they prefer to join as a lifetime member, and I can't quote the exact amount now because I probably would get it wrong. But you do that, and that's a one-time fee, and then you're always a member. But once you become a member of the club, then you can start running hunt tests and claim your amateur status. And if you get 4 qualifications during the year, which is March 1 to March 1, then that gives you enough qualifications to run in the Invitational, which is held in one of the 4 regions in the country. And this year it's in Giddings, Texas. So this is the West Central region, and we're running it now here.
Let's see, so last year we voted on 6 passes, and now it's back to 4. So what's the verdict here?
Well, it initially, when the club was formed, it was 6 passes that were required to make it to the Invitational. In the Butte, Montana Invitational, which was the 3rd that was run, they decided to go to 4. It was during COVID. They were worried about the number of people that would actually be able to get to 6, and so they dropped it to 4. That was maintained for a couple of years, and then the board voted that we should go back to the 6. When we did that, there was a significant amount of discussion from the membership, and it was pointed out very clearly that the amateurs were different from the pros, and that the pros could stay a week and a half, 2 weeks, because they're getting paid to do so. The majority, or close to the majority, of our members are still employed. They can't take out that much time from work. So it was determined by at least 2 or 3 people that it costs at least $500 a dog for them to get the additional passes. So it would be $500 for one qualification if they qualified, and $500 for the next. And it was very, very clear that the board was erroneous in going with the 6 passes, and we discussed it, and it unanimously passed back to 4, and which was effective immediately. So it takes 4 qualifications to get here, and it will in subsequent years.
So the other kind of thing that you guys put out this year is trying to condense the West region into the West Central region.
Yeah.
And I mean, was there a determination on that? I mean, how did that happen?
We did a survey, and the survey, number 1 question was going back to 4 qualifications, and over 70% of the people that did the survey, and let me just say that 40% of our membership participated in the survey, which is an incredible number. That was, if they say that if you get 20%, you're doing great. We got 40%. And of those 40% that responded to the survey, over 70% wanted us to go back to 4 qualifications. So we listened to the membership and reversed our decision. We also, one of the questions was whether or not we should combine the West Central and the Central. We had voted to stay at 4 because that came up once in a board meeting. But I wanted to know what the membership thought about that. It was not going to be for a vote. It was just to get their information. So I put that in the survey, and 55% of those that responded definitely thought that we should combine the two. It's still controversial, so therefore we didn't take any action on it, and I'm not sure we will, but we'll just have to see. We've got the West Invitational coming up next year in 2024 in Carnation, Washington, and hopefully we'll do really well with that. But if we don't, then we may have to consider that subject again.
So what other future ideas or plans, or where do you want this to go in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, number one of the other final questions we had was, do you want us to run the Invitational later in the year? Almost all of the invitationals that or every invitational we've run has been essentially below the Mason-Dixon line. And it's been because it gets warm quicker, we have to run them in April and May. Well, April and May is not good for the people up north because a lot of times they can't even get in the water by then because it's still frozen. So we have really emphasized the idea of future invitationals going above the Mason-Dixon, and that way they'll be held later in the year, like in June, possibly toward the end of June, and that way the northern dogs will have time to get to water and be trained on water, and that will allow them a better chance. And because why would they come down here if they haven't trained on water? You know, and so that was a big deal. Now, in the survey, I asked that question, and it was 50-50. 50-50 wanted to go later in the year, and 50 wanted to keep it where it was. But, you know, if you look at the history, we started off in Cairo, Georgia. We went to Sedalia. We went to Butte. And then we didn't go a year because of COVID. And then the following year, when I took over the presidency, there was Corning, California. Approximately 3 weeks later, there was Emporia, Virginia, same year. And then we went back to Sedalia the second time, and now we're here. And so we've stayed low in the country, and we need to move more north. And that's what our plans will be, to move more invitationals north.
So you're trying to get more members to join, more amateurs to join? I mean, tell them that those folks that are not members at the current time, why they should be a member of the national invitational. What are they going to get out of it?
Well, number one, it is not, you're not joining a club that's going to run 1,500 dogs, and that's what the estimate is for the Master National this year, 1,500 dogs. We ran 300 here, and with 2 flights. We have a very tight-knit group. You get to know people from all over the country. Your dogs are subject to quality tests. I guarantee you I was involved in setups for all the tests this week, and they're quality tests. They're very challenging. The grounds are absolutely gorgeous. So you get to participate in quality events, meet a lot of really great people, and belong to an organization that is dedicated strictly to the amateur. So that's about what I feel that is most important here.
So for us amateurs, it is nice to run a national event in 5 days.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. We're going to have 6 events, and hopefully we'll be done by Thursday, Friday, and if it have to be Saturday, Sunday, then it will be, depending on the weather and the time. But we were very specific with the judges, and when they set it up, we were there, and we essentially are going to see 8 to 10 minutes a dog, hopefully less than 8 minutes, but again, that should get us through Thursday with awards on Friday and possibly heading home on Saturday. So that, not bad.
And that national event, I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff here today. Tell us some of the stuff that the amateurs are coming in and having fun doing today.
Yeah. Well, I think, today there's lots of raffle items that are some terrific items that people have, the clothing, and we've got people involved with this that are unbelievable as far as selling. They could sell, an ice box to an Eskimo. But we're gonna have a handlers meeting later today, and we're gonna discuss all of the things we just discussed about what the survey showed. We're gonna just introduce the judges and let the judges talk about what. There's going to be one of the judges is going to say, we expect to see this, and they've all agreed. And one of the things that we do at the Master Amateur that I think is really good is we believe in equality between the two flights, A and B. The first flight's going to be a triple with a flyer and an honor. And people who have taken off time to train their dogs and come into the area and run this test, if their dogs are a little weak, hopefully they don't take themselves out of it. They'll get through the first series. And then each series thereafter, it gets a little tighter and a little more difficult and a little more challenging. And so at the end of 6, I can guarantee you if a dog qualifies and gets a ribbon and a crystal plate, they will feel very proud of what they have accomplished. So.
Are you trying to get more people involved in the board?
We definitely would love to have the membership be aware of the fact that this is all volunteer, and my position and every vice president position is a 4-year commitment. There's the president, the secretary, the treasurer, and then each region has a vice president, which is a 4-year term, and a director, which is under them, and that's a 2-year term. So every year we've got at least 2, if not more, positions open for members to want to give back, to come and do so. It's real easy to sit out there and criticize, but then when you ask them to put their money where their mouth is and come and join, it's interesting how many people just kind of slip into the shadows, and I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would step up and help keep this organization viable. And I think we're doing fine. I think every position has been filled, and in fact, I know it has. And we've got a lot of great ideas for the future, and I think we're going to be a very valuable part of the retriever world, for amateurs only.